classic 80s metal.
Symphonic death metal opera.
But I gotta be in the mood to listen to Black Sabbath.
Many of our listeners weren't even born then.
Back for its time, it was very progressive.
I can see there are thrash elements.
You are a metal paradox.
A stunning vision of death metal.
I would listen to it over and over and over again today.
It just seems so dated.
I hear this more as operatic as goth.
Floor Jansen will surpass Halford as the iconic heavy metal singer.
You're listening to the Great Metal Debate Podcast.
Well, good morning, Great Metal Debate listeners. This is Brian coming to you from around Kentucky Lake this morning. And as always, with me is my good friend, well, not really good friend, this guy known as Gomthog. Gomthog, how are you?
You might know me as the Master of Metal, Brian.
If you want to be delusional, go ahead. We got a lot to talk about this podcast, but I want to start while it's fresh in your mind with a couple of things that you've been doing. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about, too, a couple of shows that you went to, which you came back from super excited. So let's start with the first concert you went to. Tell me all about it.
Man, I sure was. The first of this month, October 1st, I got to go see a incredible show at Mercury Theater in Louisville, Kentucky, a venue I'd never been to before, featuring Eluveitie, The Agonist, Martina Edoff, and Catechus. Now, this show, Brian, was supposed to feature Epica. Epica was going to be the headliner, but because of issues in singer Simone's family, they had to cancel, leave the U.S. for the second time in a row. They've had to cancel U.S. tours. So Eluveitie was the headliner.
That sucks, man. I hope it works out, but I also hope she gets to come back.
Yeah, they're supposed to early in 2016, but again, 2 times in a row having a tour canceled, that has to really suck. It sucks for me as a fan, but I can't imagine as a band who's invested lots of time and money into planning a North American tour.
Right. Now, what about the last band?
Oh, my, man. Eluveitie so impressed me. They just blew me away with their material. And Kriegel, he is a mastermind. You might think hearing song after song that talks about Celts getting killed by Romans would be boring. But, oh, my God, it was amazing. The mixture of folk instruments, the metal, they blew me away with their performance. I got to meet Kriegel and Anna Murphy after the show.
Nice.
Just super nice folks, really down to earth. I mean, Kriegel was just smoking a cigarette and talking to fans. Anna was standing there drinking a beer. Super cool. And Brian, I'll say this: this was a pure metal show. You can't get more metal than these guys, and yet there was little to no emphasis on the electric guitar. Those instruments were in the background, and front and center were the hurdy-gurdy and the fiddle. Those were the lead instruments in this metal band and performance, and it couldn't have been more metal. Hurdy-gurdy and fiddle are as or more metal than electric guitar, Brian, in this new age of modern metal.
Of all the things that you've said, that may be the dumbest thing I've ever heard about metal. You can't be serious, right?
Oh, I'm deathly serious, Brian.
How the hell do you say that?
I know that flies all over you, but it is true. You don't need electric guitar. I mean, that's fine if you want to have it as an element of a song, but it's completely unnecessary for heavy metal.
You're ridiculous. It's what started heavy metal. It's the only thing that started heavy metal was distortion through guitars. You can't move into a new era with the hurdy-gurdy. Are you kidding me?
Hurdy-gurdy is as much or more metal than guitar.
I want to cuss you right now. God! Eluveitie, although they're interesting music, they keep my attention, and I like some of their stuff. It's not the hurdy-gurdy and the violin or the fiddle that keep them going in a metal setting.
No, that droning sound of the hurdy-gurdy, I mean, that just blew me away. She was killing it. And again, Anna on the hurdy-gurdy and the violinist, they were front and center. They were the ones doing the solos. They were the focus of the music. There was a guitarist, but they remained in the background. those folk instruments led the metal assault.
Dude, there's a bluegrass festival down in Owensboro coming up soon. If you want to hit the barrier, you can get up there and headbang to the banjo and the harmonica. After all, they're the key to metal. I hope you're picking up on my sarcasm there.
Here's the thing that gets me, Brian.
What?
Back in the 80s, in the awful 80s, when I was listening to that terrible music, why didn't I think of folk metal? It makes so much sense.
Because when there was real metal around, folk didn't enter into it. It's only by progress and getting better as an artist that we start leading to bullshit stuff in metal. I did the air quotes around progress.
Yeah. Well, Brian, I still haven't told you the best part of that show.
What's that?
I guess about 2/3 of the way through the show, one of the more aggressive, really headbanging songs,
Yeah.
and I felt all of a sudden hands at my back, and I realized somebody was pressing up against me trying to get at the barrier.
Right.
I'm like pushing back. I'm not going to give up my space at the barrier, man. I've been standing there for hours. No one's pushing me away.
July.
Nonetheless, these two ladies did end up pushing right up next to me, pushed the other guy out of the way, took his spot at the barrier, and especially this one blonde lady with long hair, she was going crazy, just headbanging, whipping that hair around, and that was fine with me. I was headbanging along with her, just wasn't giving any ground.
Yeah.
But she was getting into it, and I loved that, man. So that song ends, and at that point, Kriegel, the lead vocalist for Eluveitie, looks down the crowd and goes, yeah, and we want to give a shout-out to our friends from Russia who are here tonight, our friends from Arkona who stopped by to watch our show on a day off from their tour.
No way.
That blonde lady next to me headbanging was Masha Scream from Arkona.
That's awesome.
It was awesome.
That's great, man. So you're headbanging with a true headbanger.
I was, man, with a true pagan. It was awesome. I got to meet her and see the guys in Arkona after the show, and I saw Masha there, and I walked up, and I just shook her hand and said, it was an honor to rock with you. And she put her hand over mine and just kind of nodded. I don't know if that was just her way of showing empathy or if she doesn't know enough English to respond to me.
Hey, metal is a universal language, man. That's great.